Welcome back to Motivated with Meg. This is season 2, the exercise experiment, where we explore movement, motivation, and mindset in ways that feel good and hopefully sustainable. Today, we're talking about tracking movement and how it can either support your health goals or quietly take over your mind. So grab a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. How often do you track your movement? I ask because I used to track everything. Back in the day, when MyFitnessPal was basically the only app out there, I was logging every calorie I ate and every calorie I burned. The goal was weight loss. My mindset was push harder, burn more, and you'll rest when you're dead. Or maybe when you hit your weight loss goal. And now, I've realized that tracking is just a tool. It's not the goal itself. We live in a world full of trackers, apps for every step you take, every rep, every calorie, the water you drink, how much sleep you get, even your menstrual cycle. And I want to be clear, this episode isn't about judging whether you track or not. It's about bringing awareness to what you track, why you track it, and whether it's truly helping. Fitness trackers can give us some amazing insight into how our body works. They can help us set goals, monitor our performance, and they help us stay motivated. But what I find is really important is where those goals are rooted. Are you tracking because you're training for a specific event, like a sporting event? Are you tracking because you want to hit a personal strength milestone, like a personal best? Or because you're hoping that tracking will fix something you feel is wrong with you? This awareness makes all the difference. If I could give you a few things to track that actually support your well-being, I'd personally start with sleep, because everything feels harder when we're exhausted. And as you know, the cable company says, try to unplug it first and then plug it back in and see if it works. And we're kind of the same. I'd also track water. I think we overlook how important hydration is and how much it affects our energy, our focus, our digestion, even weight loss. Really, it affects everything. And if you're a woman, I would track your menstrual cycle. This can be a game changer in understanding your energy, your cravings, when to train, and when to recover. And if you want more on this, I would look at Dr. Stacy Sims, who does a whole thing about weightlifting around your menstrual cycle, which is pretty interesting. And that's it, personally, that I would track. Now, like I said, I used to track a lot more than that, and it's okay if you want to and continue to. But I think it comes down to if tracking movement brings you joy, or if you have a specific goal, that's great, go for it. Otherwise, I don't really see the point. It's just something that we were taught to do and told to do in the fitness world, in the diet mentality world. I have cousins who run every day and they track their runs, and they've sent me pictures of like a year looking back, a year in review of all the miles they logged. And I think it's absolutely beautiful and amazing that they track this and that they stay consistent and that it motivates them to stay consistent because they don't want to miss a day. I love it. I think it's amazing. Now, if it causes them undue suffering, I don't know if that's the case for them. But if it did, I hope that they would reevaluate that, right? That they know that they don't have to run every day, right? That's not what makes them who they are, makes them worthy of their love. I don't think that's the case with either of my cousins that I know run consistently like this. But I think it's important because there are people out there who are only exercising because they do feel like there's a void inside of them that they need to fix, that they're not worthy of loving themselves until they've reached a certain weight loss goal or look a certain way. So in the end, if you want to track your steps, the weights and reps you use when lifting, your speed when running, if you want to track your weight, that's okay. I'm not judging you, and you don't need to judge yourself. The whole point of this podcast is just to ask you to look at why you choose to track those things and if they're helping you. Because the key is that tracking should work for you and not control you and your life. Numbers are really helpful, and they can also be really noisy. And when tracking starts to dictate your worth or your mood for the entire day, week, or month, it might be time to pause and reevaluate. It doesn't mean you have to make changes. We're just pausing and reevaluating. And so this week, that is your experiment. I invite you to bring some gentle awareness to your own tracking habits. Maybe ask yourself a few questions like, what do I track? Why do I track it? Is this helping me feel better or just adding pressure? Let it be an experiment. because that's exactly what this podcast is about and this season. It's about experimenting with how and why you move your body. While experimenting with tracking, there's another thing you can look at as well, which is just where are you growing? It's really easy with tracking numbers to focus on physical growth, like a faster mile time, heavier lifts, more steps. And that's great because this kind of progress, it can really help. When you measure your progress like this, it can really be motivating. It keeps you going. But don't forget that growth doesn't always show up in numbers. Sometimes the biggest wins are in the internal wins that we have, like noticing you're no longer beating yourself up for going slow on your run or missing your workout. Or maybe you notice that you're not out of breath when you walk up the stairs. Even realizing that movement has become something that you want to do, not just something you have to do. These are all things that are fantastic to be bringing awareness to that have nothing to do with the numbers you might be tracking. So track it if it helps to track it, but also notice when it doesn't help and try to reevaluate. Notice how you're changing internally, who you might be becoming, growing into, because that's a win that doesn't fit into an app. Thanks for listening, and as always, remember, you are already enough. You deserve to feel good in your body right now. Until next time, be kind and be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.